Hope and welcome. Today I'm going to work on Mixed Media Menagerie for July of 2022. This challenge comes from Nicole, Laura, and Erin. They've been doing Mixed Media Menagerie for, I don't know, like 2 years or something. And this year they started adding a guest artist, and this month it is Tina. I'm going to have all 4 of those videos linked below for you to watch, so make sure you head down there. But this and I was the guest artist last month where I created this mess, but I'm gonna try to keep it together this month. What did I want to tell you? Mixed Media Menagerie, it's like a lot of challenges where you use some of the same things or prompts and create something. So I'm creating a spread. They are working in a specific mixed media journal. I don't have that journal, so I have taken, y'all, this is just a little notebook from the Dollar Tree. I've glued pages together, and this is pre-gessoed here. So it has a little bit of bulk, and I don't know, the lines aren't as visible, that kind of thing. So the prompts for this month are oil stick, fabric, and birds. So I do not have oil sticks in the sense that they mean them, which are these, it's basically an oil paint in a stick form. I don't have that. What I do have are some oil pastels. Now I think I have another set somewhere else, but I knew where these were. I picked these up at a yard sale. I think they're 50 years old. It says 1972 here on the back. So these are some vintage oil pastels, but they are in their entirety. They came with some other stuff, but they were 99 cents at the TG&Y back in the day. So I'm going to use at least one of these oil pastels. For fabric, I have this big old box of these are just scraps. This is my scrap fabric, and that's what I keep out for journaling with. And then birds, I went back and forth about that. I'm still going back and forth about it, because at first I thought maybe I could find a bird image to include, but I don't know, that didn't really go for me. And then I was like, oh, maybe a stencil of a feather, and I was like, all right, what else is bird related? And I was like, oh, owls, and wait, I have owl stamp. Y'all, I have all kinds of bird stamps. So I have pulled out, I've got like birds on a line, and then there's this bird carrying a letter, and this has got a bird on it here, and this is a whole set from the Dollar Tree that's just birds. And this one I love. It's got feathers and birds with like words behind them. You can see it's my owl stamp. And then you'll have this one, which has a couple of birds, a nest, a feather, and an egg on it. And I was like, oh, eggs work too. So anyway, so there's a lot of things I could do with bird. I can use those. I may draw eggs. I don't know until I get started what's going to happen. So I think I'm going to start this with some collage just to get past this blank page and then see where it goes from there. I am pulling collage materials straight out of my scrap boxes. I have both of them up on my desk. It's taking up a lot of space. But if you've watched my CADs, you've heard me talk about these scrap boxes. I have been on a mission to work my way through them and not create any more scrap. Now, while this isn't an iCAD or index card today, I still want to use the scraps before creating more scraps, so I didn't use anything new, stuff that was already in my boxes. And I'm just using some Uhu glue stick, and well, I'm fighting with some of these older thicker materials, and just using a lot of different things. There's like a vintage envelope, some ledger paper, tissue paper, some of the Tim Holtz decorative paper book pages. I think that piece there with the pink and white on it is a giblet from Tiffany of Southern Gals Designs. And I don't know, I'm just getting it all on there. And my idea, y'all, looking back through, I've been working in this particular journal since February with the Mixed Media Menagerie, and almost all of these pages are just absolutely loaded down with color from corner to corner, top to bottom. They're just heavy feeling, and I don't know, they seem to crowd my brain. I wanted something with a little airier feeling, a little more white space to it. And so to do that, I'm trying to start my collage right there in the middle and then bring it out to the edges. And I'm making sure that each of the 4 edges gets touched by at least one piece of collage, but I'm not covering the entire page with collage. So the middle there is kind of got quite a bit of it, but I'm trying to keep the edges a little free and clear and have that lighter feel to it. And I did have a couple that, like that giblet from Tiffany there, and then this other piece of envelope that I started with, I kind of put them aside so I could bring them back out to the edges. So that is all of my collage there. I'm trying to get the last couple little pieces to stick, and then I'm bringing in just some Liquitex Basics white gesso, and you saw I just dabbed it in a couple spots. And I've got a paintbrush that I am just using to kind of integrate all of these pieces together. I'm trying to make sure that all of the edges, I'm getting some of that white on there so that it kind of brings all of this a little bit more together, so it doesn't feel like a bunch of different pieces of paper, that it's more like texture and an art. And I am really trying to make sure that I've spread all of that gesso all over this page or this spread and get all of it in there, and that nothing, pokes out. So once that is there, I'm going to dry this super quick. There's not a whole lot to dry, I don't think. And I'm going to come in with my oil pastels. So I had been thinking, when I saw the egg stamp that I had, it made me think about Robin's Egg Blue. So I decided to use this light blue and make some eggs. Because what I really wanted to do with these oil pastels was use them as a resist with other paint, specifically watercolors. So yeah, I'm going to bring some watercolors in here in a little bit. And really, y'all, the white one works great as a resist, but I wanted to have the color of the of the oil pastels in there, so it was more of that challenge of having to use the color of it. But I'm going to also bring that white one in just a second. I think I got one more egg I'm going to draw. And I decided to just put white circles kind of in them, like it's the yolk inside of an egg. But y'all, really, it kind of almost feels like an avocado to me, in the pit in an avocado. So I knew I couldn't use green with this because then it would just be avocados. But that piece of envelope in that upper right has that red that's kind of staring right out at me. So I said, you know what? I'm going to use red. And it ends up being a little more pink, but I've got my watercolors there and a fairly large paintbrush. And I am just making sure to hit each one of those eggs at least a little bit with my watercolor. So that resist technique kind of, I don't know, can you see, especially where the white is, how it acts as that resist? And I love that. Now I know I was supposed to use oil sticks, and there's a difference between oil sticks and oil pastels. Apparently the oil pastels don't ever really dry, but I'm okay with that. Whatever. This is just a scrap journal. I'm okay. It'll be fine. So once I got done painting what I was going to paint, I went ahead and had to add some splatter, just a little bit around on there. And then I'll go pick this stuff up real quick, and I'm going to grab my yogurt container that has my dried up instant coffee, because it's not something of mine if I'm not throwing coffee at it, apparently. That's been my jam lately. So I reconstituted that a little, and I'm just going to splatter a little bit of coffee around on this page, and that helps integrate some of the brown bits that are kind of there, and I'm going to bring that in again in just a minute. So I'm going to dry this. Y'all, it took forever to dry that. It took like 5 minutes. It was so much water. And then just to get a little more movement and a little darkness on there, I used my chunky pencil to just scribble a bit, and I really love that. And I'm looking at it and knew I needed some more texture. I needed to start to decide what my fabric was going to be. I thought maybe that cheesecloth could be fun, but I realized I had used, I think, a piece of that exact same cheesecloth somewhere else. But I had this piece of some kind of coffee dyed just fabric on my desk already, so I've grabbed it. And the feather stamp, that is, I believe, a Tim Holtz collection of stamps. I'll see if I can find it, but I'm not positive. I don't know where it came from. But like I said, it's got 2 birds, a nest, a feather, and an egg in it. And I'm going to use this feather with some sepia colored archival ink and just stamp it straight onto the fabric. I'm going to put 3 little feathers
right there, just like that. And so I've brought, I've got the egg on there and I've got feathers. I'm actually going to bring bird into here in just a minute as well. So yeah, I've got this fabric. I'm going to go ahead and, because I do love me a torn edge, I'm going to go ahead and tear. I made sure when I stamped this not to get too close to any of the edges so I could tear it down if I needed to. And so you see I'm just snipping a little bit and then tearing it. And yeah, so I'm going to play with this a little bit and look at it and decide that the background needs some more texture to it. So I will grab, I think that's what I'm going to do next, is grab my Distress Oxide in Black Soot and those stamps again and get this one that's this flying bird. And y'all, I think it's supposed to be flying upward, but for some reason I positioned him, I couldn't figure out which way it was supposed to go. So all of it is he's dive bombing everything, just whatever. But for me, it was to just bring a little bit more darkness in there and a little more texture to the background. So I'm just going to stamp it in a couple places around on the page and let that bird dive bomb whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I should have looked at it before I tried to stamp it, but it was more about just getting something on the page than like the bird being any kind of focal, because I knew my fabric, my stamp fabric was going to be the focal. And I needed something to back it a little bit, so I looked back in one of my scrap boxes and found this piece of black construction paper, and so I just tore it down a little bit. And it looks kind of great. You can see all the frayed edges on that fabric, and then to just kind of finish it off, I've got a sticker from one of Tim Holtz. I think it's the Small Talk pack, and I don't have that journal in front of me, so I don't know what that says. But I think it says something about the journey or finding something, and I felt like with the birds, they're always kind of looking for something. So they're on a journey. Like I said, it made sense at the time. I don't know that it does now. But I'm sticking everything down with my Oohoo glue stick, including that sticker, to make sure that it sticks well. And I'm just going to put it across my feathers down there toward the bottom. And I started to think, okay, well, maybe I'm done with this. I've done everything. I've got fabric, I've got birds, I've got oil sticks. What else do I need? But the more I look at this, the black really is standing out in that one corner. And I knew I needed something else. So, oh, well, before I did that, I decided to grab my Uniball Signo in gold and just add a little something. And so I go around that whole stack of everything there, and since I put it there, I'm going to go ahead and go around my eggs as well with it, because, yeah, I needed it to be sparkly for some reason. I don't know. Metallic-y? I don't know. And then I think, okay, maybe, and I'm also going to try to mark in the center, like the stem of each of the feathers, but it doesn't really show up. It doesn't work. All right. And I thought I was done there, but like I said, I need the darkness to kind of be continued throughout the page. The birds didn't quite do it. So I'm just going to put some Stabilo dots, some black Stabilo dots around on the page and activate them really, I don't know, quite a bit, so that they're nice and grungy and messy. And I'll dry it and decide that I need a couple more spots in another place and activate those and dry it again. And then I'm going to be done. I do like this page a bit more than some of the others I've done. It, like I said, those others felt so heavy and bogged down with too much stuff. And this, I tried to keep airy and free, and I don't know if it was the idea of the birds or the fabric or what, but I didn't let myself stress about this one too much. I hope you like this. If you do, give me a thumbs up. If you've got something to say about it, let me know below. Or if you have questions, ask away. I am ready to hear it. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for coming by and watching. Make sure you go check out Nicole, Laura, Erin, and Tina's videos. Like I said, I'll have them below. And play along if you got the time. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye.